Hello, this is Essie, the homeless woman. I gotta go to work and I don't want to go to work. So I decided to make a video. I had some questions that people asked me in the comment section, and really all the questions that they asked me, I have done videos before and have answered those questions already. But I decided to make a video and answer some of the questions. And so one question was, why you don't live with your mother or your friends, your family or friends? Well, the reason why is I like my peace. I've been living by myself since 24. Yeah, because I moved out of my mother's house when I was 20. And me and my sister got an apartment together. And so I moved away from my sister when I was 24. Yeah. So I've been by myself ever since the age of 24. And I'll be 50 soon. So I like my peace. I did live with a boyfriend 2 times. And one time, one of my boyfriends, we lived together for a year. And that was horrible. That was horrible. I'm used to a man providing for a woman. I'm used to a man going to work every day, even sometime working on his days off. And that man is my father. He was a hard worker, and that's the type of man that I want to marry. I don't want to marry a man that is going to look for me to take care of us. That's going to want to fall back on me. No, I'm supposed to fall on him. He the man. So, them the type of men I were getting. The type of man that want to look to me for help. And it's supposed to be the other way around. So, I had to leave him. And so after I left him, I was like, I ain't living with no man. I didn't really want to live with nobody, period. But I did let this one guy that I was seeing move with me. And that was horrible. And that only lasts like a couple of months. And so he moved out. But I enjoyed my peace. And Satan can use people to make your life a living hell. I'm aware that I've been living like this in my car for almost 13 years. So when I first moved in my car, it was horrible. I was depressed. I was sad. I cried on and off for the first, I would say, 3 years. Cried on and off, cried myself to sleep. People were very disrespectful to me because I was homeless. And I would cry myself to sleep because of how people treated me. And with prayer and everything, I stopped crying myself to sleep because Yahweh gave me the strength to defend myself, to speak up for myself. And so when I started speaking up for myself, I got people not liking me. Everybody liked me before when they could say whatever they want to me, when they could treat me any old kind of way. Oh, Essie, she's so nice, she's so sweet. But then when I started speaking up for myself, I was public enemy number 1. But I didn't cry myself to sleep at night anymore. So I like speaking up for myself. I don't mind having enemies, because if it means I can sleep peacefully at night, then that's the way I prefer to have it. Because when you start letting people When you stop speaking up for yourself, people start disrespecting you big time. And that hurts. That hurts, and you will cry when you're by yourself. And so, once I start speaking up for myself, I stopped crying about how people were treating me, you know. But I got enemies, but I had peace. And I don't care about enemies. Long as Joshua is not my enemy, I'm okay. So that's why I don't live with family or friends. Um, my mother, she's about an hour and 15 minutes away from me. And if I visit her too much, boy, we don't get along. So I try to stay away. We talk on the phone all the time. And I had said to myself, I think I should visit my mother maybe 3 or 4 times a year. It's sad. I would like to visit her more, but I don't know. She lashes out at me a lot. So I guess she like her space too. I think she do because she got, well, I don't want to tell all her business because that person might see this video. But I think my mother likes her space too. So, and yeah, so I like peace. You know, people got their ways on them, you know, just like I got mine on me. People got their ways on them, and sometimes people can be jealous of any little thing. Sometimes people lash out at you. Like I had a lady I've been talking to for like 3 years just lashed out at me at the gas station. She works there because I asked for a receipt. So if they have a bad day, they can take it out on you. And I'm a nice person, so people tend to try to, you know, disrespect me, and then I have to put my foot down, which I don't like doing. I want to be a nice person, but people make me be a way I don't want to be because they're disrespectful when I'm nice. So that's why I don't live with anybody. Some people may say I'm a introvert. Yeah, I guess that's what I am, an introvert. Since I've been homeless, only stayed one night at a shelter. I just didn't like, well, that shelter was under remodel. So we all had to sleep in this one big room, and we had pallets on the floor, and there was somebody right here and somebody right here, and I just didn't like that. So, but they had some good food at that shelter. I'm telling you, they did. They fed you real good. And you could take shower, you can wash your clothes, you know. But you had to be in at a certain time, and you had to leave at a certain time, which I didn't like, which was early in the morning you have to leave, which I didn't like that. So I guess I answered the question of why I don't live with friends and family. My peace of mind means more to me than a roof over my head. Technically, I have a car roof over my head. So if I did not have a vehicle, then yeah, I probably would go live with friends and family instead of sleeping on the ground out in the open where anybody can come up and do something to me. But I have a car roof over my head, so I would rather stay in my car than stay with other people and be stressed out. And so what are some of the other things? Well, I had one person to make a comment about you're homeless, but you have on different outfits. And then he put an emoji doing like this. Well, I think people think in a box, you know, about how a homeless person is supposed to look. Like a homeless person is supposed to be dirty, a homeless person is supposed to be smelly. They're supposed to be mental problems, on drugs, and maybe selling their body if they're a woman, maybe a man too. People think all kinds of horrible things about homeless people, and when I became homeless, I took on all those things that people think about homeless people. That I'm gonna steal from them, just a lot of horrible things. I had When I became homeless, I became all those things that people think about homeless people, and never did none of that. Never been on drugs, never stole, never sold my body. Um, what else? Wherever else you think negative about homeless people, I never did none of that. But I took on all those things because I had the title homeless. So, homeless people do not have to, all of us do not have to look a certain way. That's why I was trying to bring awareness that there's homeless people at your job. There's homeless people at your church. There's homeless people in the grocery store shopping right next to you. We all look different. We all don't look the same. And yes, I wear outfits, different outfits, because I work. And I take care of my clothes. I wash them. And I have my clothes for a while. So when I first became homeless, I was wearing the same clothes for like 3 days. And I noticed after 3 days of wearing the same outfit, they would need to be washed. Couldn't wear them no more. So I was like, I'm going to have to change my clothes every day. So I noticed that when I would change my clothes every day, my clothes would last longer. Because see, I would sleep in the same thing. I would sleep in it for 3 days. So when I would only put on my clothes for the daytime and then take them off at night, and throw on something else, and then so I could make them last a lot longer without them needing to be washed, instead of just wearing the same thing for 72 hours, and then I couldn't wear no more because they had to be washed. So where I shop is very inexpensive. I don't spend a lot of money on clothes. Usually I take $100 and I get maybe 7-8 outfits or dresses, and that's what I would do once a year. And that was actually before I started working. I shop a little bit more now because I'm working, but I didn't work from 2011 to 2019. So those years I really struggled. And when I started working in 2019, because I struggled so much for 8 years and could not eat exactly what I wanted to eat, when I started working and then I had this money, I'm like, I'm going to stay in my car and I'm going to eat good and I'm going to fill up my gas tank. I feel like it's a privilege to fill up my gas tank because there were so many times I feel like I was driving my car on fumes. I would only put like $6, $7 in my gas tank, which wouldn't last long at all. But there was times where I'm like, oh, please don't let me run out of gas. Please don't let me run out of gas. Begging and praying. Well, I said I don't beg, but praying that I did not run out of gas. So, so now to be able to fill up my gas tank, it feels so good. So yeah, so that's why I just decided to stay living in my car and eating good and filling up my tank. So I was hoping that my Camry, because I know I got a lot of new subscribers and you probably don't even know that I have 2 vehicles, a Camry '03 Camry that I lived in. Um, that's where I live in. That's where I sleep in. And my van, I use it to do Uber. So when I was hoping to keep my Camry as long as I could without buying a new vehicle, but when I started doing DoorDash, the food delivery, and then I had already put money into getting that car fixed. I had to get it out of tow because the police towed it. So I spent I think 1,300 getting it out of tow. A lady in her 90s, she loaned me the money, so I paid her back. So that was 1,300 some dollars. Then it went right into the shop after I got it out, and that was another like 1,200. My mother let me use her credit card. I paid her back. Um, and then so still, I'm like, oh my goodness, just constantly having issues with this car. Constantly got to get things fixed on it. I was like, I need another car because I need a vehicle to do food delivery. So I had to get a van. I mean, I didn't have to get a van, but that's what I wanted, a van. So, but I was trying to hold off from buying a new car. So, I got a minivan because I always wanted a Toyota minivan. This is not the first minivan I bought. This is actually the third minivan because the first one, I started doing Uber. And when you do Uber, you use a lot of gas. It was a V6 engine, and it started, I think somebody rigged it, I really do. But it started, you know how when you turn on the AC, the water that drips on the ground, it started coming up and it was going into the floor mats. I mean the carpet. So my carpet was wet, and it was starting to spread all over the vehicle. So, and they was telling me that it wasn't under warranty, and it's going to be a big thing to get it fixed because they got to rip out everything, and because the mildew, you can't have that mildew to set in. And so they were saying all this stuff they was going to have to do to it, and I was like, and that I may have to pay for it. So I was talking to a salesman, and he was like, we can get you a hybrid minivan, and it'll actually be cheaper with the gas from doing Uber, and the notes together will actually be cheaper than the V6 that I had, and all the money that I was putting out on gas, which it was like $200 cheaper a month. So I bought the hybrid minivan, and that was my second minivan. And then I got hit by a drunk driver. So that's how I got this one. This is my third one. So I do Uber, and the gas in the hybrid minivan is way better than a minivan that's not a hybrid. So I think there was some, it's weird the way people drive nowadays, and this person just parked their car, and it's not even a parking spot. It's just the way people, like, where's the police? So anyway, there was another question. I hope I answered the question with the clothes. They didn't really ask a question. They were just making a statement about me wearing something different every day. Yeah, so I'm not going to, I know it's this lady I met, and she would go around asking people for money. She would drive around, I don't care how far, she would go far. She would be gone for like a whole week. Is it a week or 2 weeks? Probably 2 weeks. She would be gone because she would be driving all over and giving people a sob story. And so she would get money. And she would get like $2,000-$3,000, somewhere around there, 3,000 or 4,000 in a 2-week span, because she would go around asking for money. And plus she was a little older woman, And so I think she's like 10 years older than me. And so people would give her money. So she would say something to me about my clothes and everything. And I say, yeah, well, well, I know where you can go and shop and get you some clothes. Because she was complaining about her clothes. And she was like, well, I don't want to, if people see me wearing nice clothes, they're not going to want to give me any money. And I was like, oh. So, I said that to say that I'm not going to look a certain way to fit people, what they think about homeless people. I'm not going to look like that. I ain't never looked like that. I don't want to look like that. I want to look like Essie. And Essie has always been into clothes and dressing really nice. Y'all should have seen me before I was homeless. I mean, you think I dress now? You should see me before I was homeless. To me, I don't dress like I could dress, like I really could dress. So if I had a place to live, this the way I dress now is really nothing. So I dress like this because I want to, and my clothes are not expensive at all. And so yeah. And what else? What other questions people asked? I can't remember any other questions, but I'm sure it was some. I didn't write them down. But I have 2 storage units. One is for my crochet and my yarn and the stuff that I sell on Etsy and when I go to the boutiques. So my stuff is in there. I got tables, I got mannequin heads and displays in that storage unit. It's a bigger storage unit. And then I have a smaller storage unit for clothes and my own personal things, tax returns and towels and all kinds of stuff in there. And so when winter time come, I take winter clothes and put it in my car, and I take like the summer clothes and put it in my storage unit. So that's how I do it. Switch it back and forth when the seasons, change. So I think that's it. If you have any other questions, you can leave in the comment section and I'll answer them. But I guess it's time for me to go and do Uber. And I will talk to you guys in another video. Have a good day.